Happy Friday, baby. I'll be starting in a couple of minutes with this latest Bitcoin update. Just give me a mo. Hey, baby. Hope we're all well and lit. Happy Friday, guys. We made it to the end of the week. Well, it's been a good week. Well, it depends. I mean, for me, it's been a good week. I hope you've all had a good week. Every week should be a good week anyway, because, you know, even if it wasn't a good week in the sense of, you're trading or you're investing, there's lessons to be learned. As I'm sure some of you may be going through right now. You know, things may not always be going your way on the trading front, on the investment front, but then, you know, it's beautiful. We take the time over the weekend to review and refine and you know, further perfect our craft, what we do, just continue to learn, and don't let your ego get in the way of learning. Okay, guys, I'm just going to start in a moment, just putting this story, letting people know. Live. Okay. Give me one moment. Okay. Stream. Right. That'll do. Let's have a quick update. I mean, there's a few things to talk about, actually. Obviously, technically, one thing, but then also just a few bits of news that I want to cover some ground on it as it goes. Just make sure the sound's okay. Sound, are we good? Yes, we're good. Right, I'm going to turn this up just a little bit more on here. Bam. Okay. Let me share my screen. Chart view. Bosh. All right, guys. Let's open this up in full view at the moment. Obviously, I spoke about Bitcoin yesterday. I put a video up about a potential scenario that I was getting overly excited about, which I'm monitoring. Okay, so I want you to, there's a few things to be aware of, but stay tuned on this stream. Okay, we'll get back to this technical update in a moment. Just want to go over a few things across the industry that's interesting. Now, let's start. I don't know whether to start off on a positive note or start off on some things that haven't been great. Let's just quickly start off on a negative note. We'll start off on the bad news and we'll work our way to the good news. Okay, so the bad news is obviously Bitcoin's been under a little bit of pressure. You can see that that sea of red across the board. Bugger off! Bugger off! The Red Sea. Get away. We want blue. We want blue and green sea. That's what we like. That's what we like to swim in. No one likes to swim in a Red Sea. Okay? We want to be swimming in nice blue, green seas. But right now, we're in the Red Sea because of Russia. Okay? So, obviously, the things going on still at the moment, just on the news front, Russia further invading Ukraine. Unfortunately, they've taken over certain cities and just getting a bit of a hold of Ukraine. Again, I'm so sorry, and anyone that's impacted by this, it's just it's devastating. You know, I can never put into words every time I have to read it in the mornings. But that seems seemingly a harming sentiment a little bit today, just because it's just again global war fears. Remember, I did note in my video previously that the Russian situation was supporting cryptocurrency to the upside because on the sanctions, specifically regarding the sanctions. But markets are like, okay, fine, that's over now. War seems to be getting worse. So again, crypto's just being hit at the moment. Another thing that's not good for sentiment, and this man's in trouble. Oh boy, he's in this old fella here, Jerome Powell. Bugger! Okay, the other day, he said, for anyone that doesn't know, he's the Federal Reserve Chairman, okay? He's in control of the Central Bank of the United States. He and his crew set interest rates, okay? They decide where interest rates are going to be in the economy, and also they talk about stimulus, monetary stimulus. Just a quick refresher for anyone that doesn't know, a quick economics lesson. In the pandemic, when the economy was hit globally, economies were hit across the board, the central bank stepped in like the FOMC. They lowered interest rates to try and help, with people's affordability. When you're lowering interest rates, you're bringing down the borrowing costs of outstanding loans, mortgages, credit cards, so on and so forth. And then, of course, banks get all this money because the FOMC, the central banks, are pumping cash out. Take all this cash, banks, and go and lend it to consumers. Okay, so that helped prop up the economy. And back then in 2020, after March, around April time, we had this big pump in Bitcoin. So everyone had all this cash, borrowing all this cheap borrowing, and they're going buying out Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So we were pumping. Okay, now thank you, Jerome Powell, for that. Now you bugger, listen here, boy. So he's saying that he was speaking to the U.S. Financial Services Committee, and he reiterated his view that there is a growing need for cryptocurrency regulations during his testimony. Get out! This is another classic case of, the institutions trying to centralize cryptocurrency, trying to centralize Bitcoin and its peers. With these regulations, they're never going to be able to, obviously it's not going to be centralized, but they're going to make it difficult with all these continued calls for regulation, make it difficult for people to move their money around, so on and so forth. And, it's unfortunate, really. So that, I'm sure, is not good for market sentiment as well. Just the fact that a key chairman of a central bank is calling again for need of regulation. And he was citing, saying the recent events in Ukraine have underscored the need for congressional action on digital finance, including cryptocurrencies. Because remember how we said before, something that was supporting cryptocurrency to the upside and Bitcoin and its peers was because Russia could avoid or bypass some of these sanctions from these big economies and use cryptocurrency to carry on doing business. So that's why Jerome Powell, understandably, was calling for it. But you just got an excuse here, boy, haven't you? Him. All right, so he's one of the reasons potentially why sentiment's harmed. On the plus side, by the way, guys, cryptocurrency, as I say, another good bit of news as to use case. Ukraine raising a lot of money on the digital currency front. Okay, millions, 54 million Bitcoin donations pouring in with this war against Russia, which is great. Okay, all right, that's that. The general news out of the way. I wanted to mention one thing. So remember, I've obviously, I'm a big advocate of metaverse, and obviously something that I'm largely invested in a number of projects. Sorry, I was getting up this here. But we've got Sandbox here, okay? I did do a video on cryptocurrencies projects, metaverse-based ones, and we spoke about Sandbox. Sandbox is one of my favorites. It's seen as a safe one for me. One that really, they're ahead of the game, these guys, man. They've got big partnerships you would see with, recently Snoop Dogg just dropping the Snoop verse. We've got, obviously, big companies coming into play, getting some land in Sandbox. Go and look at the land right now. Just to put it into perspective for you, just quickly go on OpenSea, right? I just want to show you what these digital lands are going for, just so you can see right now. This is early days, by the way. We've got some serious upside to come. But look at these bad boys, okay? Look, just picking one randomly here. $8,000 for digital land. So it's insane. So the good news is Sandbox has hit 2 million users. That just shows people are getting excited about this project, man. There's serious adoption going on here. This is amazing. Got people start planning their lives and getting their wives and their husbands in the metaverse, building these lands, their homes, start building that base so they can build passive income. So yeah. Do not hesitate to check out Sandbox, okay? I think it's a great project. We'll check out the chart in a moment, right? So anyway, they've began their partnership as well with K-pop. Anyone who doesn't know K-pop's huge in South Korea, man. The music. Some of the songs are old, like some of the tunes and artists are ultimately funky. I've listened to some of them before as well. Funny enough, I've actually met a few K-pop artists at some events, and yeah, they're pretty cool. So anyway, let's just jump straight into the technical front now, see what's going on. Now, I noted this in my stream, in my video, just the potential for this inverse head and shoulders. You see Bitcoin, a left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder in construction right now. And what we could end up doing is forming a bit of a flag here, okay? You see a bit of a flag structure there for Bitcoin via the daily chart. Now, there is a bit of a risk, of course. If this doesn't hold, by the way, and we don't get that breakout to the upside, forming this right shoulder, what we could end up doing is coming, there's another area of support, okay? All the way back down here, about 38,000. So I just observed this, sometimes you've got to just take a step back and just look at the bigger picture as well. And I just saw, obviously, this trend line here, obviously confirmed, multiple taps there. As you can see, this latest rejection. And then we've got our support trending to the upside there in this sort of flag, this, rising wedge structure. But right now, obviously, this is supporting the price. So if this doesn't hold here, okay, this zone forming this right shoulder, right? The left and right shoulder don't always have to be equal. The right shoulder can come down a little bit lower. As long as the shoulders are below the head, that, inverse head and shoulders structure is still there in play. So this is what I'm monitoring right now. You can see if we just drop down to the 4 hour, okay, look, we did stay some potential reversal candlesticks here. We just need to break back above 42K to really, for this flag structure to potentially play out. On the 1 hour, just not overly convincing there right now. It does look like we're forming a bit of a bearish flag there on the hourly. Just as I'm just looking at this now, it does look like we are forming a bit of a bearish flag. So maybe we do come down to this trend line, and that head and shoulders structure, the inverse head and shoulders, doesn't play out. So this is a possible scenario. So let me just go back to high time frame at the moment, guys. Where we're at right now is really key. Okay. So given that fact we've fallen back underneath this 42K mark, this is very possible as well. I just want to present you both opportunity scenarios. I don't want to, I don't. Obviously, that scenario would have been nice, but we trade what we see. As traders, we trade what we see. So this is a potential another situation, another scenario which plays out. So just keep an eye on this region where we're at now. As I say, it does look like, just given my view, it does look like this is now going to want to force its way out to the downside from this bearish sort of flag structure. And I guess that would make sense, wouldn't it? Let's just quickly see on the daily a moment. On a weekly, we've still got 2 days, haven't we, for the end of the week? See, the weekly right now has been nice, okay? Remember I said this beautiful reversal candlestick here and this bull candle here of this week. It's really encouraging. Obviously, that can everything can quickly change in a matter of the next couple of days, but I don't think that will ultimately to the downside aggressively like that. Yeah. So yeah, we've a giveaway here and come down to 38,000, or this flag structure does play out. So just keep an eye on that. Okay, just keep an eye on that. Let me just see on the 4 hour if I could mark this up now as a bullish flag structure. I don't think, obviously you can, not really, not. I mean, there or thereabouts, but just don't like the mixed signals that I'm getting now on the lower time frames. Otherwise, I'd be game for that. It does look like this could play out to the south. Let me just measure this pole as a short. Just want to see. Resistance. Obviously, if we were to take shorts, it's logical to place it above this resistance area now, because remember, look, this is previous support 42K, and then we gave way, and now we can see the rejection so far on that hourly, right, on the current hour, on the previous hourly candlestick, and then it would be the case of coming all the way down to this trend line, because that's where every time we've had a rejection up here, look, rejection, we've come all the way down to this trend line, right? Just rest quickly, just remember on the higher time frame moment, every time we've had a rejection at that trend line up here, see, we've come down to here. Rejection, come down to here. Rejection, come down to here. Okay. So keep an eye on that structure right now. All right, as I say there on the 1 hour. So yeah, that's possible. Ethereum, again, look, a bit of a bearish flag there. It's a shame, really, because these head and shoulders, the inverse head and shoulders could have been nice. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder forming, but it just doesn't look promising. Just that 1 hour, it's the 1 hour on both of them just looks a bit worrisome there. These potential flags, given that we've broken back up below these zones. Look, you see like breakout of this zone, retest, and maybe obviously rejection. And you can see obviously the structure here. Look, this is what I mean. I speak about this all the time. When we trend in cryptocurrency, this is really easy to margin trade. Look, so we break out this flag, Another flag, bit of consolidation. So look, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, so on and so forth. And it's just breaking out these consolidatory patterns. Pennant or flag there, breakout, flag, potential breakout. Just keep an eye on this retest of this zone here. Okay, so we're at a key area with both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it's just generally the same across the board. All right. Same thing on a weekly though. Looks promising, right? Reversal candlestick there, double bottom situation. Remember that W structure? That's the same as Bitcoin as well. So long as this week we close above this doji here, if we close above, we're good. The bulls will carry on next week, in my view, from Monday. But yeah, just right now, this 1 hour price action doesn't look overly convincing for me. At present, looks like we can potentially fall to the downside. And obviously, as I said there, Bitcoin. By the way, so Sandbox, just going back to that story quickly. We'll keep an eye on these in a moment, but let me just go back to Sandbox. All right, big bargains here, okay? Obviously, this is probably going to fall a little bit more, just in line with the rest of the market. But as I say, this is huge, guys. This is huge. Hitting 2 million users. It's massive. K-pop, right, partnership. Snoop Dogg, which, has been partnered with them for a while. There's some big companies entering that. Right, we just saw how much the land costs on on OpenSea for Sandbox. Guys, this at $3 is a bargain. There's no reason why this can't 100x this year when we get out of this stupid bear trend. When we get out of this bear trend, okay? All right, let's just quickly go back to Bitcoin a minute. One moment, my brothers and sisters, bear with me. Just one moment, please. Let's just see what's going on this hourly. Worrisome there. Let's keep an eye on this. This closes the next 10 minutes. So obviously this candlestick, if we close that side of this flag, probably going to want to push a little bit more to the south. But then it's just, it's a shame because of this inverse head and shoulders. Just keep an eye on this area, okay? If both Bitcoin and Ethereum. If those flags play out, we go all the way down, okay? Bitcoin comes down to 38K. Let's just quickly double check Ethereum. If we've got the same sort of wedge structure here, there or thereabouts, we do. A bit of a wedge, bit of a pennant, whatever, a triangular structure. It doesn't matter. At some point, we're going to get a nice explosive breakout of all this consolidation. Guys, other than that, that's it from me. Have a blessed weekend. Stay lit. Let's get it.